On the news, Presidency denies conferring national honor on political activist Aisha Yesufu and 35 others. Minister of Works Umahi defends President Tinubu, says North has 52% of legacy projects. Nigerian Senate considers raising Supreme Court judges to 30. Many thanks for joining News Now on TV360 Nigeria. I'm Simisola Adigun. The Presidency has debunked reports that President Bola Tinubu has awarded national honors to political activist Aisha Yesufu and 35 others. Senior Special Assistant to the President on Media and Publicity, Temitope Ajayi, dismissed the reports in a statement over the weekend, providing clarification to the viral list of an extended awardees on his X handle. Ajayi went on to explain that President Tinubu did not award fresh honors to Nigerians apart from the ones contained in the President's Democracy Day speech at the National Assembly. He described the viral list as fake news and urged the public to disregard it. Still in the spirit of this year's June 12 Democracy Day commemoration, political experts have highlighted the lack of ideology, internal democracy in Nigeria's political parties as the bane of the nation's democratic journey. Speaking on the station's flagship program, political affairs analyst Abubakar Kari says the problem lies with the foundation of party formation, which needs to be urgently addressed.
The reality is that some of us do not believe that we have political parties in the real sense of the word. What we have are political platforms. What we have are SPVs, special purpose vehicles that politicians simply use to acquire or consolidate power. A political party is supposed to be organized. Our Nigerian political parties are not organized. Many of them belong to the realm of the so-called briefcase parties. They lack constitution. They lack adherence to their own constitution. They are the biggest floaters of their own rules. So there is total absence of internal party democracy. So for us to make progress, we really have to revisit the way and manner our political parties are formed in the first place. Now the political parties are being run and controlled by big men and women, the so-called godfathers, and in the government houses and the state house, House of Villa, they are the people who decide who becomes what, who leads the political parties. The parties' leadership are not elected. They emerge through dubiously organized consensus. They are imposed and so on and so forth. So everything is wrong with the very existence and structures of our own political parties. So, and since our political parties are not democratic, they cannot give democracy. So, so the real crisis is the crisis of party formation. We really have to look at it. We really have to insist that we have political parties in the real sense of the word.
Nigeria's Minister of Works, David Umahi, has dismissed claims that President Bola Tinubu's administration is focusing more on road infrastructure projects in the south, saying the north actually accounts for a larger share of ongoing federal legacy projects. Speaking to journalists over the weekend in Ahwada, Rivers State, after inspecting roads in Rivers and Bayelsa states, Umahi described the allegations purportedly made by unnamed northern elders on social media as misleading and baseless. According to Umahi, of the 4 major legacy road projects inherited by the Tinubu administration, 52% are located in the north, while the south holds 48%. He insists that the Tinubu administration is committed to balanced national development and that the data clearly disproves allegations of southern bias in project allocation. And in a bid to tackle the mounting backlog of cases and improve the efficiency of the Apex Court, the Nigerian Senate says it is considering a legislative proposal that will increase the number of Supreme Court justices from the current 21 to 30. Sponsor of the bill, Imo West Senator Osita Izunazo, disclosed this during a press briefing in Abuja to mark his 2 years in the 10th National Assembly. He argued that the current number of justices is inadequate, despite the recent appointment of 11 justices in 2023 that finally filled the constitutional quota for the first time in Nigeria's history. According to him, the proposed legislation will enable the Apex Court to form more panels to expedite the adjudication process. In politics now, the Rivers State Caucus in the National Assembly has issued a scathing rebuke of Senator Seriake Dickson over his recent remarks concerning the political situation in the state. Speaking at an emergency press briefing in Abuja, Chairman of the caucus and House Minority Leader, Honorable Kingsley Chinda, expressed deep concern over Senator Dickson's condemnation of the state of emergency declared in Rivers State and his call for President Bola Tinubu to reinstate suspended Governor Siminalayi Fubara in his Democracy Day address. Chinda describes Dickson's comments as misleading, inflammatory, and potentially destabilizing, warning that such rhetoric could jeopardize the fragile peace efforts currently underway.
The caucus cautions Senator Seriake Dickson, the Rivers State caucus, unequivocally and clearly sends a clear caution and warning to Senator Seriake Dickson to stay clear from inciting Rivers people into any form of violence or attempting to cause any breakdown of law and order in our state. He is from Bayelsa State. If he wants to cause problem or crisis anywhere, let him go back to his home. The state of emergency declared in Rivers State is not a breach of the Constitution. Rather, it is a legitimate tool provided in Section 305 of our Constitution to restore sanity when democratic structures are under serious threat. It is in fact only recently the suspended governor himself, Governor Siminalayi Fubara, publicly thanked Mr. President for saving the day when he declared the state of emergency in Rivers State. Therefore, Senator Seriake Dickson, the retired police corporal, cannot cry more than the bereaved.
I'm equally aware that Bayelsa State, especially Bayelsa West, need a lot of this activism to bring the dividends of democracy to them. I want to tell you that these things are lacking. The appointments you have in Bayelsa today are the appointments that they got through their relationship with Rivers State. I'm not too sure that my colleague has attracted anyone to his state. None. I am also aware that one of the most backward states in the country in terms of infrastructure is Bayelsa. And so this energy could be channeled towards activities that will improve the infrastructural problems of Bayelsa State. So I join in appealing to my colleague, Seriake Dickson, that we should kill negative energy.
Nigeria joins the world in marking the 2025 International Albinism Awareness Day. Advocates and medical experts are calling for inclusive healthcare policies and stronger public education efforts to tackle the unique challenges faced by people living with albinism. The theme for this year's commemoration, Demanding Our Rights, Protect Our Skin, Preserve Our Lives, draws attention to the critical need for skin cancer prevention among people with albinism through public awareness, routine screenings, and better access to sunscreen. Correspondent Joy Uchejim completes this report.
World Albinism Awareness Day is observed each year to recognize the achievements of people with albinism and to spotlight the discrimination and serious health challenges they continue to face. Health experts in Nigeria warn that individuals with albinism are particularly susceptible to skin-related conditions, especially skin cancer, due to the country's intense sun exposure and consistently hot climate.
They also have photoaging. And now that photoaging is described as, when the skin is heavily wrinkled. You can see those parts of the skin that are frequently exposed to the sun, so the sunlight. They appear wrinkling, rough, and thickened. Like the skin appears older than the age of the individual. Now, the most serious and frequent complications that are seen in them is skin cancer. Skin cancer occurs in about 1,000 folds when compared to people with pigment skin.
Advocates and dermatologists say there's an urgent need for increased awareness, routine checkups, and government-backed interventions to reduce preventable skin damage and improve quality of life.
Collective responsibility, like collaborative effort, is required by individual with the disease as well as the society generally and the government. So now, for individual with the disease, what are they expected to do? The major problem is chronic exposure to sunlight. So definitely, the prevention would be hinge on that prevention of avoidance of sunlight.
Early intervention on the issue of skin cancer is cheaper, is less stressful for all parties. So at that rate, we're now focused. We went on a media campaign again to tell persons with albinism that if you notice any part of your body, just walk into LASUTH, that's the Lagos State University Teaching Hospital, to the skin clinic on any Tuesday to have your skin checked. So we focused more. Yes, the treatment was going on for people who already had it, and we focused more on early intervention and prevention.
Beyond health challenges, stigma and social exclusion continue to pose significant concerns. The chairman of the Lagos State Albinism Association emphasizes that community support, inclusive education, and legal protections are essential to empowering people with albinism.
We're going to the churches, the mosques, we're going to the motor parks, we're going to the marketplaces, we are going to the malls, we are going to offices to really tell people, to really make them have an understanding of what albinism is all about. We would not just stay on albinism issues alone. We would really get to enlighten them of what the Lagos State Special People's Law says about persons with disability, because persons with albinism are regarded as persons with disability according to the law due to their very low vision. So for that reason, we go on that footing and we create awareness at various parts of the society.
As the world marks 10 years of albinism advocacy, advocates are hopeful that ongoing dialogue will lead to concrete policies and grassroots actions that protect the rights, dignity, and well-being of all persons with albinism. Joy Ucheje, TV360, Lagos.
Borno State has recorded a major feat in healthcare delivery following the first successful kidney transplant conducted in Maiduguri. This remarkable achievement was announced by the Chief Medical Director of the University of Maiduguri Teaching Hospital, Professor Ahmed Ahijo, during a press briefing held at the hospital. TV360's correspondent Solomon Josiah has more in this next report.
This is not the hospital's first attempt at performing a kidney transplant. Professor Ahijo shares the hospital's efforts since August 2010, which could not be sustained at the time. But that is changing. Thanks to major upgrades and the commissioning of the dedicated kidney care center, the University of Maiduguri Teaching Hospital is now positioning itself as a national hub for kidney treatment.
We have 4 operating theaters just for the kidney center. All the 4 can be used for kidney transplant because they are designed in such a way that kidney transplant can be done. We did them in a way that they are twin theaters. 2 are twin in the new extension and 2 are on the old side. And we equip them with modern equipments. All of them, they have in the kidney theaters endoscopic towers. They have their lights with camera. They have everything that is needed within the operating theater to operate for kidney transplant. And even the theater lamp, some of them, they have cameras that you can view it anywhere. And also, we do have, we are where we upgraded the laboratory to a level where we can do HLE typing in addition to the basic laboratory.
One of the lead surgeons involved in the operation explained the rigorous medical procedures and expertise required to ensure the success of the transplant, applauding the teamwork and dedication of the hospital's medical personnel.
The transplant on the 21st and 22nd of May this year in this hospital. And this was successful because of the rigorous effort of our Chief Medical Director in providing resources, support to the unit. A complete HLA laboratory was put in place in this hospital. So the good news about this transplant is that everything was done within the University of Medical Education Hospital.
Speaking to the press, the patient who underwent the successful transplant expressed immense gratitude to the hospital management and medical team.
First of all, I want to thank Almighty Allah for giving me a second chance at life. I also sincerely appreciate the doctors and all the staff at UMTH who took care of me. They treated me like family and made sure everything went well. Today, I feel completely fine. There's no pain, no discomfort. I can walk, eat and do things I couldn't do before.
In Nigeria, the average cost of a kidney transplant stands at 13.5 million, underlying the financial burden typically associated with such procedures. However, this kidney transplant was carried out successfully without any cost to the patient. The hospital management commits to covering transplant costs for another 20 patients.
We performed it free to the patients. Free. And there is to do one kidney transplant, it cost about 13.5 million naira. The hospital carried the 8.5 million they provided. But there is a donor that decided that he doesn't want to be mentioned by name. He rather be quiet, unknown, and he paid 5 million for each of those patients that we have successfully conducted the transplant to.
With this groundbreaking achievement, the University of Maiduguri Teaching Hospital has no doubt set new standards in public health care in Nigeria, serving as a symbol of hope for others in need of life-saving kidney treatment. Solomon Josiah, TV360, Borno.
As Nigeria continues to face significant challenges in sustaining safe and adequate blood supply, health experts have emphasized the importance of young people donating blood based on their generally healthy state. According to the National Blood Service Commission, less than 10% of blood collected in Nigeria comes from voluntary, non-remunerated donors, widely considered the safest source. The majority comes from family replacement donors and commercial donors, raising concerns about safety and reliability. In commemoration of the 2025 World Blood Donor Day, Medical Officer Dr. Glory Alapa contributes the low rate of blood donation in Nigeria to persistent religious and cultural myths.
For females, it's recommended 3 to 4 months. So maybe quarterly or, every 4 months you can donate blood as a female. For men, up to 8 weeks, WHO recommended standard, up to 8 weeks, men can donate blood. That's 2 months. But to be on the safe side, on the average, quarterly. Quarterly, it's safe to donate blood quarterly. And this is because this is done in response to the body's way of replenishing the blood that you've lost. So within 3 months, red cells are already matured, they produce blood and all that. So within 3 months, you are able to get fresh blood and all. Young people are important in the supply chain because for continuity of the supply chain, if a young person starts donating early, he has a longer time to keep donating. And most times, the elderly from 65 above are usually not advised to donate because of other comorbidities that must have been happening, or other, disease of the aging and all that will be taking place at that time, so that you don't further tip them into morbidity, that's into, being ill. So it is important that young people, the strength is still there, the will to do that, and then the consistency. We have a longer period to donate blood. So it's very important for young people to come together and save lives through blood donation.
We'll go on a short break. When News Now returns, death toll in South Africa's floods rises to 86 as rescue efforts continue. Please stay with us. Welcome back. Let's take you through our main stories. The presidency has debunked reports that President Bola Tinubu has awarded national honors to political activist Aisha Yesufu and 35 others. The senior special assistant to the president on media and publicity, Temitope Ajayi, who dismissed the reports in a statement on his X handle, described the viral list as fake news and urged the public to disregard it. We also informed you that Nigeria's Minister of Works, David Umahi, has dismissed claims that President Bola Tinubu's administration is focusing more road infrastructure projects in the south, saying the north actually accounts for a larger share of ongoing federal legacy projects. Now, in case you missed any of our news bulletins, or for more updates, you can catch us on Limex World TV and AVO TV, or log on to our website on www.tv360nigeria.com. You can also follow us on our social media platforms on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube at TV360 Nigeria, or download our mobile app on Google Play Store, Huawei App Gallery, and Apple Store. On Facebook, we're TV360 Online. In a significant move towards tightening financial regulations and safeguarding investors, Nigeria's Senate has concluded plans to unveil details of the Investment and Security Repeal and Reenactment Bill 2024, recently assented to by President Bola Tinubu. Chairman, Senate Committee on Capital Markets, Senator Osita Izunaso, who sponsored the landmark bill, disclosed this to journalists in Abuja. He explained that the act, among others, aims to squarely combat the proliferation of Ponzi schemes and fraudulent investment operations across the country. In the meantime, Nigeria's Bank of Industry is set to unveil an impact fund and a youth bank to support enterprise development and drive youth-led industrialization across Nigeria, aimed at closing funding gaps for youth-led businesses and innovation-driven enterprises. Speaking during the recent inaugural Innovation and Entrepreneurship Development Annual Lecture organized by the Obafemi Awolowo University in Ile-Ife, Osun State, Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of the BOI, Olashupo Olushi, said the initiatives are aligned with the federal government's Renewed Hope agenda. According to him, the upcoming BOI Impact Fund will deploy various financial instruments, including debt and equity, to support high-growth enterprises and strategic value chain companies while also providing critical support to struggling businesses. In South Africa, rescue teams have recovered more victims of heavy flooding that struck the nation's Eastern Cape province earlier in the week, with the death toll rising to at least 86. President Cyril Ramaphosa, who visited the poverty-stricken province, attributed the catastrophic disaster to climate change. Ramaphosa estimated the flood waters had reached more than 4 meters high after heavy rains and strong winds battered the Eastern Cape. And King Charles III has directed members of the royal family participating in Saturday's Trooping the Colour parade to wear black armbands in honor of the victims of the recent Air India plane crash. Buckingham Palace further announced that King Charles has also requested a minute's silence to be observed following his inspection of the troops as a mark of respect for the 241 lives lost in the tragic crash near Ahmedabad. In a statement, a palace spokesperson said the silence would be held in recognition of the lives lost and the families in mourning and all the communities affected by the awful tragedy. And on sports, the 2025-2026 Nigeria Premier Football League season will kick off on Friday, August 22, 2025. Chairman of the NPFL board, Benga Elegbeleye, made this known at the Nigeria Football Federation headquarters in Abuja, where he emphasized the significance of the date as part of the Federation's strategy to align domestic football calendars with continental competitions. The announcement is expected to be followed by the release of full fixtures for the upcoming season as the Nigerian top-flight organizers await the 4 promoted teams from the Nigerian National League, the country's second division. In a stunning show of speed and dominance, Samuel Ogazi has etched his name into history books by storming to victory in the men's 400 meters final at the National Collegiate Athletic Association Outdoor Championships, clocking a superb 44.84 seconds to secure the title. Running out of lane 5, the University of Alabama sophomore powered through the final 100 meters to finish well ahead of the competition on Friday, with Gabriel Moronta trailing in second at 45.47 seconds and William Jones finishing third in 45.53 seconds. Ogazi's victory is a historic achievement for Nigerian athletics and Alabama University, making him the first Alabama athlete since Kirani James and the second Nigerian since 1999 to win the NCAA 400 meters title. And that's it on News Now. Many thanks for watching. We'll see you again next time.